Our son called for accountability. It's no coincidence, in my opinion, that they put a gag order on him and they put him in prison the day before they had to appear in front of senators and tomorrow in front of congressmen. I think that is fairly an act of cowardice.
In their appearance on The Angle last night, the parents of Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller rattled the public consciousness. Justifiably, their emotions run the gamut of fury and disbelief.
Can't talk to him. They don't allow him to make phone calls.
We talked to him for 2 minutes on Monday morning when he asked us to contact his attorney. He got one phone call.
We have had no communication with him. He needs our help. His family needs our help. And we're asking the American people to write their congressman and say if it's not all right with them, then we need you to say we want them to resign.
How can it be that a highly respected 17-year Marine with multiple tours of duty under his belt is sitting in the brig tonight for saying the obvious last month about our withdrawal from Afghanistan?
People are upset because their senior leaders let them down, and none of them are raising their hands and accepting accountability or saying, we messed this up. Now, I'm not saying we've got to be in Afghanistan forever, but I am saying, did any of you throw your rank on the table and say, hey, it's a bad idea to evacuate Bagram Airfield, the strategic air base, before we evacuate everyone?
Now, by making those comments publicly and then continuing to post comments on social media, some military law experts are saying that the lieutenant colonel likely, among other things, broke the chain of command. Well, on Saturday, Scheller posted on his Facebook that his superiors had ordered him to stop posting on social media. He ended the post with, "I'm ready for jail." Then he was tossed into the brig. Now, if anyone is truly guilty of breaking the chain of command or disparaging the military, it's General Mark Milley. Before and after the election, he hopscotched over the commander-in-chief to coordinate with his Chinese counterpart. And when Nancy said Donald Trump was crazy, Milley said he agreed. But Milley remains typically dismissive and defiant.
At no time was I attempting to change or influence the process, usurp authority, or insert myself in the chain of command. But I am expected, I am required to give my advice and ensure that the President is fully informed on military matters.
Now, who deserves to be held accountable here? A Marine Corps officer with a stellar career, yet still risked his pension and benefits to tell the truth about our incompetent military leadership? Or Milley, the incompetent leader whose own failure to speak out left 13 Americans dead? They squawk about an insurrection, a 3-hour insurrection on January 6th. But what do you call a general and other officials trying to usurp the role of our commander-in-chief because they hated the actual commander-in-chief? Seemed like House GOP members were watching last night because today they confronted Milley and Defense Secretary Austin and CENTCOM Commander McKenzie on the blatant double standard.
When people in the military, like Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller, stand up and demand accountability, when they say that you all screwed up, he ends up in the brig, and you all end up in front of us.
The American people want and deserve accountability, and we even have service members like Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller being thrown in the brig for suggesting that. The public's faith in our institutions continues to erode precisely because everyone in the D.C. bubble appears to have some sort of immunity from the basic standards the rest of America is expected to live by.
For not taking accountability, we know that, but we're also never going to know how many hours Milley spent gabbing to the media.
Did you talk to Bob Woodward or Robert Costa for their book, Peril?
Woodward, yes. Costa, no.
Did you talk to Carol Leonick and Philip Rucker for their book, Alone Can I Fix It?
Yes.
Did you talk to Michael Bender for his book is, Frankly, We Did Win This Election, The Inside Story of How Trump Lost? Yes.
Yes.
Or no? And were you accurately represented in these books?
I haven't read any of the books, so I don't know.
He was too busy reading Ibram Kendi, apparently. What? Come on, who believes he didn't read any of the books, or even the pages where he was mentioned? He gave the interviews because he wanted to burnish his own reputation and protect his legacy for posterity. In these hearings, MILLEY, Austin, and McKenzie, they all look like football coaches on a 5-game losing streak. Those generals aren't leading anyone to victory.
And I know that members of this committee will have questions on many things, such as why we turned over Bagram Airfield. That, in my view, there was no risk-free status quo option.
I did not see any tactical utility to Bagram.
Imagine what China thinks of the great American war machine led by these men. Not being able to secure an airbase long enough to do an orderly evacuation? Forcing our troops to do impossible perimeter security with doing ID checks with crowds crushing toward them? Well, MILLEY did admit the obvious, that the withdrawal was a strategic failure, you think, but he still doesn't believe anyone should be held accountable for it. And the Pentagon has admitted they mistakenly killed 10 civilians, including 7 kids, in that drone attack. Same answer there, no accountability. They might as well have just said, our bad. But of course, no one resigned, no one was fired. It's simply stunning. By contrast, Scheller and his parents accept that he broke the rules, even if his reasons were noble.
While Stuart broke the chain of the command, I contend General McKenzie, General MILLEY, Secretary Austin, they have broken the chain of trust and confidence of the American people. And for that, they should be embarrassed.
They should drop their rank.
They should drop their rank and they should resign for that.
The Angle was the first to call for those resignations more than a month ago, but today, MILLEY made clear it's not going to happen.
General Milley, will you now resign?
I serve at the pleasure of the President, Mr. Jackson.
Mr. Jackson. Now, for the alleged crime of demanding accountability, Lieutenant Colonel Scheller was stripped of his command and thrown in the brig. His pretrial hearing is set for tomorrow. Although he hasn't yet been formally charged, he could face charges of Article 88, contempt toward officials, Article 90, willfully disobeying a superior commissioned officer, Article 92, failure to obey an order, and Article 133, conduct unbecoming an officer and a gentleman. We'll see what happens. But all this smacks of political payback, doesn't it? An official attempt to silence and intimidate dissidents within the ranks. If you remember your Russian history, if you studied Russian history, you'll recall what the Soviets did to their prisoners of conscience. The goal was to stop all dissent by any means necessary. But we, the people, we have a say. We can speak out. They can't intimidate or silence all of us. They'll try, but they can't. We need to stand up for those who are brave enough to speak the hard truths publicly. America has not been betrayed by Lieutenant Colonel Scheller. America was betrayed by our incompetent, arrogant, and newly woke military leadership. And that's the Angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.